When you think of rocks, do you think of basketball, Dwayne Johnson, or Alcatraz? Well, today I can tell you about some rocks that are a lot more scientifically significant, including ALH 84001. Today I'll be going over Thad Roberts, best known for his involvement in the moon rock heist, his time at NASA, the heist, the significance of the heist, and some insight from Thad himself. He grew up in a large Mormon family and had a falling out with his parents and the church while he was 18. He enrolled at the University of Utah and majored in paleontology. He became frustrated with how many fossils were being boxed and put in the basement, and according to the FBI.gov story on the case of the stolen moon rocks, he had them on display when they went through his house for search. All the information I have on Thad from his early life to the arrest is from Ben Mesrick's 2011 book, Sex on the Moon, which came from a series of interviews between Thad and Axel Emmerman, the buyer of the rocks. He became interested in NASA and applied to be an intern at the Johnson Space Center. He got in as a life science intern. He decided to be in Houston every 2 weeks and then come back to Utah for a weekend. One of the most profound moments of Thad's life is when he walked into the visitor center and saw Opening the Space Frontier, The Giant Step, a painting by Robert McCall. This painting's on a huge wall, and Thad thought to himself he wanted to be the next painting up on that wall, as on a trip to Mars. Of the 250 interns there, he was one of 2 life science interns, which made it really easy for him to get some hands-on work. Thad went into the spaceflight simulator without anyone catching him. He was a huge daredevil while he was there, and he made a contest among the interns about who could do the most risky thing at the Space Center. This is where he found Tiffany Fowler, his soon-to-be girlfriend, also a huge daredevil. And he fell in love with her after 3 weeks and said he would give her the moon. His original plan to take the moon was crazy. They took his van through security. It was raining so hard that night that the guards let them in without even checking the authorization time on their cards. They couldn't break in through the back door of Building 31, what they originally planned, so they tried the front door scanning system, which let them into Everett Gibson's lab with ease. Plans changed when they couldn't get into the moon rock vault. They planned on watching Everett type in the code secretly while Thad was in his building, and the oil fingerprints, but when they couldn't figure it out, they stole the entire 600-pound vault instead. The buyer of these rocks was Axel Emmerman, a Belgian rock collector. Axel became suspicious when Thad Roberts, under the name of Orb Robinson, told him about the lunar rocks for sale. Axel contacted the American police and was redirected to the FBI immediately. Thad planned to meet Axel's American sister in Orlando, Florida. He met his sister and her husband at an Italian restaurant by the hotel where Thad and Tiffany were staying. And the entire restaurant was actually dined full of undercover FBI agents, including Lynn Bradley, who posed as Axel's sister. When they left the restaurant to go to the hotel, 20 cop cars had blocked off Interstate 4, and multiple helicopters swarmed them. Thad would be sentenced to over 8 years in prison, but let out on good behavior after teaching inmates about science. The significance of all of this is all the lunar samples have been exposed to oxygen, leading them to contamination, which makes them scientifically invaluable. 33 years worth of Dr. Everett Gibson's handwritten notes over these lunar rocks were destroyed. ALH 8400 is a meteorite that proves life on Mars did once exist, was never recovered after they had taken it. Mark Norman says in his April 2004 journal, The Oldest Moon Rocks, that initial information of the moon crust could lead to information on terrestrial planets and life. In addition, Gene Simmons states on December of 1972 in a journal, On the Moon with Apollo 17, a guidebook to Taurus Littrell, these important questions. How old is the moon? Where and how did the moon originate? What historical and geological figures do the moon and Earth have in common and their differences? What can the moon tell us about our solar system and the rest of our universe? And is there any evidence of past life on the moon or Mars? Last March, I was lucky enough to have an email conversation with Thad. I asked him what his opinion was on the fossils and moon rocks, which could be potential learning tools, being kept in a safe or a box. He says roughly 90% of it has never left that vault. The number of rocks leaving the vault for scientific testing has asymptotically dwindled to next to nothing at this point. So it's fair to expect the vast majority of those samples will never do anything but act out as a politically motivated role of an expensive paperweight. We could be giving moon rock samples away to spelling bee winners and be better off than we are now. So next time you think of rocks, think of the significance of the moon rock heist. Thank you.